All right, so now we have to talk about how fast do animals evolve? Okay, so there's two types of animal evolution in regards to speed. So you have gradualism, which the theory that species evolve slowly at a constant rate over time, and then you have punctuated equilibrium, the theory that animals evolve during rapid short periods of change, following periods of little or no change. Okay, and those can be events such as an extinction, such as a natural disaster, such as a demand for food increasing or decreasing, the demand for mating or finding a mate to enhance the species. Okay. So those few things can really determine how fast animals can evolve. So essential question number four, why is Charles Darwin important? Okay. So, Charles Darwin is important because he, along with another scientist, came up with the origin of species by means of natural selection. Okay, so this is also known as survival of the fittest, meaning that the fittest organisms will survive in the environments that they can thrive in, and that the non fittest animals will perish in those environments. That's sort of like the natural selection lab that we did in class when we had to click the button and the certain type of ants disappear depending on the type of location they're in. And so this is one of the pieces of evidence when individuals and scientists start talking about evolution, they start talking about the similarities between the great apes skulls and the human skulls. And that's all you have. You right here you have the similarities between our skulls and skulls of apes such as orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, and so forth. And then on the left, you have right here one of the oldest specimens that we've ever found of an Australopithecine. Her name was Lucy. And Lucy was discovered 3.5 billion years ago. And they put Lucy in the family of human species because they noticed her hips and they noticed her legs were more related to those organisms that walk in a bipedal motion or walk on their own two legs. So, Charles Darwin, he was a naturalist. Okay, so he was the scientist who made discoveries and made observations by observing things. Okay, he came up with the idea that animals evolve based on natural selection or based on different aspects of survival in their environment. So he studied the Galapagos Islands. He studied tortoises that lived there. He studied finches that lived there. And he noticed because they're all geographically isolated islands, all of these animals have different characteristics of evolution. So now we're going to talk about adaptations that allow animals to survive because animals can survive in nature and they want to survive in nature as long as possible. So you may see animals on your everyday walk. If you take a walk, if you to get some air, you may see a deer hiding in the woods, or you may see an insect hiding on a log, or you may see a snake slithering and hiding in the grass. Those are types of camouflage. Okay. Human beings wear camouflage too in the armed services when we wear the camouflage pattern on our clothing that we hide or we try to disguise ourselves to fit in the environment. Okay. The second one animals could use is mimicry. This is a famous one as well because a lot of animals use this to look dangerous. Okay. Certain moths use it to look like dangerous moths or poisonous moths. And then certain lizards and reptiles do this as well to look like their cousins who are more poisonous or more venomous in order for predators to leave them alone so they won't become prey. So, mimicry is something that really does allow organisms to survive in environments as long as possible without having to worry about different organisms trying to eat them to ensure their survival as well. So, the history of evolutionary thought. So, Darwin, like many